What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one is between two players on the WCS Pro circuit, spawning here in the top left-hand corner of Catalyst LE, playing with the red Terran pieces. He's not as well known as his opponent, but nonetheless is on the WCS Pro circuit. His name is MaSa. And his opponent, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. He's current world champion and the best player on the planet. His name is Serral. So guys and girls, I'm very excited about this game and this series because this was in the round of 16 at the WCS in Leipzig. And of course, guys, the best of 5 series, every game in these series do matter in the grand scheme of things. You want to win all of your matches so that you can move on to the quarterfinals, and then with a chance at the semifinals, then of course the grand finals. And if you win the grand finals of one of the WCS Pro stops, you get automatically invited to BlizzCon, which of course is the biggest tournament of the year in StarCraft 2. That said, though, we're going to get started here. MaSa, he's not very as well known, not even close to as well known as Serral, but he is a very good Terran player, to say the least. He does some very interesting builds, and I absolutely do enjoy watching him as a Terran player because he's in my opinion, an underrated Terran player. Looks like he's going to go for that barracks into the refinery and then most likely into the natural command center, which is what he's doing now. It does look like a hatch gas pool opener out of Serral. Serral is pretty much does very standard builds overall. Doesn't really do anything too crazy. But nonetheless, Serral is just such a macro and a micro monster. Makes him, you know, the most difficult opponent to go up against. So I guess if you're MaSa at this point, you're beginning a series against the best player on the planet, what do you do? Is there something in particular that you decide to do against your opponent? Do you just play a standard macro focus game, or do you decide to get a little bit, you know, cheesy and go for, you know, something a little bit more out of the ordinary? A lot of times in the first game of a best of 5 series, you'll kind of see what your opponent's doing, try to get a feel for what your opponent is doing as well. But that said, it does look as if that drone was able... I love just the mind games here. Serral knew the timing on this Reaper coming across the map, so he decided to hide that drone until the Reaper had gone by, and then he decides to place that third hatchery down. So 3 hatcheries for Serral, very standard. He decides most of the time, at least, to go for a relatively, you know, get his economy booming over going for any kinds of aggression. He does go for some interesting timing pushes, though. Makes him one of the most fun players to watch. He is going for that Zergling speed upgrade, metabolic boost. We are going to see on the opposite side of the map, the starport's gone down, as well as the factory, which is on that reactor. We got double Hellion production coming out. And then we also, out of the starport, have a medevac coming in. So very soon we're going to see possibly a little bit of some draw play by MaSa. And I like the decision a lot to try to get a little bit aggressive at one point or another. It looks like Serral is going to see exactly what is going on here with this Overlord, and that's what Serral is so good at, is just getting numerous amounts of information, sacrificing Overlord, Zerglings, whatever he can to see exactly what is going on his opponent's side of the map. Bailey Nest is going to be coming in for Serral. He's also got some Zerglings that are starting to move across the map a little bit, and now we have a little push coming in by MaSa. And I do like that he's going to start pushing. It looks like he's going to back off, at least for now. Queens are out. Serral loves to get a lot of queens out onto the map. Definitely helps with that stellar defense as well as spreading the creep. With that being said, it does look like MaSa is going to start moving towards that third base location now. He's going to start moving in, but we also had some Zerglings move across the map on the opposite side, and it looks like Serral trying to get a little bit of a counterattack, and here we go, though. It looks like it always makes me very nervous when a lot of these Terran units start moving far onto creep, because all it takes is one bad engagement and all of these units could go down, and it looks like that a lot of these units are starting to get hurt pretty badly. All that said and done, though, no crippling damage was dealt, at least at this point. It does look like more reinforcements are coming in, though. They're going to try to get these queens off of creep, or get the kills on them off creep. Does look like one of the transfuses does go in for one of the queens, but it looks like MaSa is going to continue with this aggression. I like that decision a lot, actually. Looks like he's going to go ahead and go right after this third base. Got to be very careful, though, when you're going far onto creep. You got to be extremely careful. Does look like these Hellbats are doing so much damage to a lot of these Zerglings, especially. They're trying to get those connections on those queens. The Banelings are coming in. Beautiful splits there by MaSa. But just like that, a little bit of an overextension, and everything goes down for MaSa. That said, though, I mean, Serral's defense was absolutely on point. That was a big investment for MaSa, for sure, to consistently continue that aggression. So we'll have to see what his follow-up's going to be. It looks like he's got the double evolution chambers, I'm sorry, he's got the armory that he put down, and then he's also got his third command center that he's following this up with, as well as a couple more barracks. So he's got the stim pack being researched. He's got +1/+1 upgrades being researched as well right now. So the engineering bays are here for the upgrades. At first I thought that he must not have had them, but he does. He does have those engineering bays. +1/+1's being upgraded right now. We're going to see the lair coming in now. We do see, of course, a couple of cloaked banshees moving across the map, doing a lot of damage right now, which is absolutely perfect for MaSa. I love this aggression he's putting on Serral. He is really doing a lot of damage with these banshees. The double banshees that are cloaked here, trying to get another queen, gets another queen for their troubles, and now is going to try to get that lair. And if he gets this lair, that could be huge. He absolutely does. Beautiful play by MaSa. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant play. So now it looks like he's going to have to retake that third hatchery. He's got the fourth hatchery that's going down at this point as well. +1/+1 is going to be started out of his evolution chambers. But all that said and done, what this is doing for MaSa is it's buying him time. As we pass that 7.5-minute mark, it's buying him a lot of time. He's getting those +1/+1 upgrades, whether it's, you know, the infantry weapons level 1 as well as the infantry armor. So all upgrades for those ground-based units. The same can be said, though, for Serral, who is going to be behind now in the upgrade count. But, guys, we're talking about the best player currently on the planet, and I don't think there's any debate there. To think that he is out of this thing just yet is absolutely ludicrous. He is absolutely still in this thing. He's getting his lair now. He was just delayed a little bit. And now with the counterattack, this could do a little bit of some damage. It looks like some of those Zerglings are going to start moving in, trying to get some nice damage here. Maybe a little bit of an overextension, but nonetheless, Serral was able to get a few of those SCVs for his troubles. Now we're going to see some more harassment by MaSa, and I love this a lot. He's going to start to move in with Stimpacked Marines, start moving towards that fourth base location. Gotta be very careful. Beautiful micro, but here we go. Beautiful Baneling hits, and those Zerglings are absolutely decimating all of that army. And just like that, ground carapace level 1 and melee attacks level 1 for Serral are going to be finishing up now in a couple of seconds. And that's going to really put Serral, those were some really nice connections. Not allowing MaSa to do very much damage whatsoever. Looked like he was going to be able to do some damage, but in the grand scheme of things, did not. And now you've got to wonder, now that that lair has refinished, and now we're going to see centrifugal hooks being researched out of the Baneling nest, this army composition of Serral could get very, very scary with a lot of Banelings. And it does look as if MaSa, he wants to continue the aggression. This is really the one way how you beat Serral. If you want to know how you beat Serral, you beat him by putting on consistent aggression and not taking significant losses when you are trying to attack and putting pressure on. And that's exactly what MaSa is continuing to do. He's just putting a lot of pressure on this army, or I should say on Serral's side of the map. Serral's got his 5th base going up right now, 3rd base going up for MaSa. The Zerglings are starting to move in, and this is where Serral can do a lot of damage. He's got a couple of waves of these Zerglings that are starting to do a little bit of some damage. They are going to get one of those siege tanks. And it looks like this is going to get cleaned up relatively easily. Some more drop play. Vehicle plating level 1 is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds. And it does look as if MaSa, both players are really trying to just trade blows at this point. MaSa is currently up in the supply. But, as I said, Serral is certainly not out of this thing just yet. We're going to see a 6th base about to go up by Serral. And this is where Serral gets so scary, because when he starts going on a lot of these bases, he's got a lot of bases, he can really dictate the pace of the game. And this creep spread is starting to really move out, and oh, the floodgates are open. These Zerglings are going to try to get a little bit of some damage done. They're going after a bunch of those SCVs in the natural expansion. There's just units everywhere, and this is turning into a real macro-focused game, and I love it. I love the patience of Serral. MaSa is playing this really well as well. I really like the way that MaSa is playing this. He's taken a couple engagements that weren't very good, but I feel the same can be said for Serral. +2 is going to be finishing up now for Serral, and he's going to go have another run by going after a lot of these, a lot of those SCVs. And there's just units all over the map. There is just so, it's getting extremely hectic. These Zerglings are trying to surround all of those units, the right-hand side of the map. But all that said and done, it does look as if MaSa is deciding to move forward. He is not about to allow that 6th base to go down. Or I should say, is it the 6th or the 7th? Serral is taking pretty much all the bases on his side of the map, and it looks like MaSa is going to try to do a slow push here. And I kind of like that decision, because the longer you allow Serral to get ahead, it's going to spell absolute disaster. But MaSa is moving pretty far onto creep. It looks like Serral is planning possibly a surround here of some sort. He wants to kind of get a good engagement, does not want to force it. It does look like he's going to start to move in right now on MaSa, who is still doing a lot of damage to some of those queens, but the surround comes in, getting a bunch of those siege tanks. All the siege tanks get cleared up, and now he's going to get the surround on all of those medevacs and marines. Beautiful play by Serral. Absolute brilliant defense. Now more drops though in the main base location. The hive has been finished up. Spawning pool's going down. So I'm not sure why he's making another spawning pool. He must have been concerned that it was going to be taken out since it was being target fired down. And it does look though that MaSa is going to fly away, but he is trying to do as much damage as possible, just laying the groundwork here. I mean, he's really putting Serral to work this very first game of the series, trying to do as much damage as possible. He's just going a little bit too far onto creep, but those siege tanks are going to do a lot of damage. Got to be very careful if you're a Serral while you're trying to engage into this. Ling Bane Hydra composition, I love it. Reminding me so much of Heart of the Swarm days. Here we go, though. These Marauders are going to start trying to take out this base location, which is, I believe, the 5th base location so far. It looks like he is target firing it down. Is he going to get it? Oh my god, he is just barely not going to get it. Serral is surrounding this entire army, doing so much damage. Beautiful play by Serral, creating the surround once again, keeping his base alive, and now he is continuing to put on aggression across the map. Absolutely, I mean, just Serral doing Serral-based things. Adrenal Glands is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds, and I gotta say, there is just so much happening all across the map at this point. Serral is playing this absolutely brilliantly. And I think that that engagement definitely went in favor of Serral. But it doesn't look like MaSa is done just yet. He wants to start doing as much damage. He does get that 5th base location. That's what you need. You needed to at least get that. It looks like some more run-bys with some of these Marines trying to do as much damage as humanly possible. We are going to see a Zergling run-by. Wow, there's just so much happening all across the map as we pass that 15-minute mark. What an intense game so far, guys. Absolutely intensity by both of these players. It's a lot of fun to watch, though, when you're watching two incredible StarCraft 2 players go at it. It can really create some very fun engagements. Now, those Vipers are out, which we saw in the last engagement. They were out, and the Blinding Clouds were on point. We are also going to start seeing the Ultralisk coming in. And it looks like MaSa wants to continue on with this aggression. Blinding Clouds are going to be coming in, and then those roly-poly Banelings are coming in, doing just so much damage. But beautiful micro backwards with those Terran units, and now with the Ultras out, you got to be very careful. Your micro has to be absolutely on point. That Ultra does go down. Lots of damage coming in, and MaSa, this is a really good engagement for him, at least at this point. He planned on playing the late game against Serral, and he knew it was probably going to come down to this. Serral, though, is playing very patiently, waiting for the engagements to come to him. He's going after a lot of these units. Blinding Cloud's going to be coming in. Those Ultralists are coming in, doing so much damage to all of those siege tanks. The siege tanks all do go down, and now the rest of the army composition's going after, I believe that was the 6th base by Serral. Serral is just trying to, and then right after they go down, he's basically just retaking these bases. He wants to slowly bleed his opponent dry, but right now, a little bit scary. You gotta be very careful. Do not want to go too far onto creep. Beautiful transfuses on those Ultralisks. But yeah, you just gotta be so careful when you're playing against Serral, because this guy is gonna make sure that he has every opportunity possible to obtain victory. Does look like that Ultralisk was on hold and did get picked off there as another drop play. More drop plays happening all over the map, and this is exactly what you've got to do in order to beat Serral. MaSa wants to beat, or at least get one game on Serral right now, early on in this series, and I love it. I love the decision to do that. Transfusers are still coming in, doing so much damage all over the place as MaSa. I mean, I guess it's not terrible amounts of damage, but it looks like Serral once again has had enough. He's coming in from multiple angles again. He's creating these surrounds that are just doing so much damage to MaSa. It's really almost evening the score. Got to be careful, though. The micro by MaSa has been on point pretty much all game long, and just like that, beautiful play here. And we're still seeing, you know, now we're starting to see ghosts being added to this unit composition of MaSa, and I like that decision a lot. With the Ultralisks out by Serral, you really are going to have to continue to evolve here in order for him to obtain victory. Serral, though, as I said, is certainly not out of this thing, and it's not even close. I mean, both players, I mean, it's one engagement away from this game being a GG, or GG's coming in. You got to be careful. Do not want to start losing a lot of these units right off the get-go. Getting another base is MaSa. Beautiful pickup there. But once again, here we go. Do not want to lose these ghosts for free, though. Got to say that, but all of these siege tanks just getting decimated. Going after these queens, though. The transfuses come in. Beautiful play. And it looks like, oh, he might lose one of these ghosts. The surround is going to be coming in, though. And the ghost somehow, only one of them goes down. Beautiful play there. More Vipers are coming in at this point for Serral. And wow, guys, as we're approaching that 19.5-minute mark, this is an intense matchup between two very good players. I mean, MaSa is really giving Serral a run for his money in this game. Now, here's another Zergling run by, and this is going to hurt. Getting those Getting those SCVs is a very big ordeal for Serral. And that's what Serral needs to do, to really clamber back, you know, from his losses of what he had, and more of those ghosts are coming in. Nematai's Carapace is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds, and we are going to be seeing Serral's going to start flying all over the map. As far as having vision all across the map, knowing exactly what his opponent is doing. And MaSa is really giving, as I said, Serral a real run for his money. But once again, here comes the surround. And you got to be so careful, though, because all of these Zerg units are starting to just try to overwhelm the Terran player. These ghosts are just so vulnerable right now. Those Banelings are starting to do a little bit of some damage, but there are still a lot of ghosts out, and these ghosts are going to start trying to do as much damage as possible, but you do not want those Banelings to get a nice connection, and that's exactly what happens. And MaSa's got to be really careful. He needs to back off, because right off the bat, we have Serral moving in with Queens very far off of creep. Do not want to overextend here if you are Serral. Serral's starting to feel pretty confident. Got a lot of those ghosts, though, which is a nice pickup. But here we go. Another run by with some more of these units. That's, you know, Ling, Banes, and a Hydralisk. They're going to try to start moving into that third or fourth base location. Wow. What an intense first game in this series. I'm not going to lie, guys. It is an absolutely incredible matchup between these two players. Both players are really showing off what they are capable of doing in this type of series. And here we go once again. Serral, he just keeps on getting surrounds, and you got to be so careful. MaSa is kind of throwing a lot of these units away, so to speak. There's just so many. The Zerg army, the swarm, I really feel that Serral could just overwhelm his opponent right now. I really do feel he could do it. But he hasn't decided to do it, at least as of yet. Trying to knock down these rocks. So he's trying to continue that creep spread all around. And I mean, it's, you know, this creep spread at this 22-minute mark is getting close to MaSa's side of the map. But as I'm saying this, so many Banelings are coming in, and they absolutely decimate that planetary fortress. And here we go. Serral has had enough. It looks like he wants to try to end this game right here and right now. Just doing so much damage is Serral. Taking out so many units there, and it looks like the counterattack is going to be coming in by MaSa. He's going after a lot of these units, trying to get another eye for an eye, so to speak, and it looks like that is exactly what he's doing right now. But a lot of reinforcements coming in now for Serral, and it looks like he is going to get this round on all these Marauders, and Serral's defense is just a little bit too good. It is just a little bit too good when you look at this. Where we are at, passing the 23-minute mark in this game. Once again, Serral is going to try to do another surround. He's done like 4 surrounds already this game, just overwhelming his opponent, MaSa. His supply completely gets decimated, and GG's out in an intense game of ZVT. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between MaSa and Serral, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.